Hello, everybody, my students and participants of the ISTD program. Today I have for you Dr. Deepak Deshpande. He is the CHRO of NTT Magic, which is a Japan-based global organization. In India, NetMagic has about 1,500 employees, and uh, Dr. Deshpande has been with them since the last 14 years. There is a multitude of great qualifications and expertise that Dr. Deshpande brings. And I must also share with you that he is also a wonderful singer. He's got a great voice, and someday I'll share with you some of his songs. But today we are here to share some of the best practices that he has initiated in his organization. So, Dr. Deshpande, shall we begin?
Sure. Good morning and good afternoon or good evening, whatever time you're watching me. Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ajay, thank you so much.
Dr. Deshpande, we are interested to know what is the general process by which you decide the training strategy for NetMagic? And how do you ensure that there's a business strategy and all activities are aligned?
Sure. That's a very interesting question. As though it may sound cliche, but very important to this time, given that the world has changed like crazy in the last 9 months. So, well, I would definitely not refer to the traditional ways of identifying training needs. But today, what we do is more work closely with business heads. What we have done at HR at Entity NetMagic is we have formed HR BP teams for 3 clusters. We have what is called as business cluster, which comprises of sales, solutions, product, and also marketing and customer relationship management. These are 5 teams which comprise or called as one cluster, business cluster. Then there is something called operations cluster, which is primarily the IT operations, the facility operations, because we are in the business of data center IT infrastructure management. Right? We are India's one of the largest, but the largest data center now, right? And spread across 12 lakh square feet. So you can imagine the amount of activity that happens in the background to keep these data centers live and running. So there are operations cluster. Then there is the corporate support functions like finance and HR and admin, procurement, quality, governance, risk and compliance, those kind of support functions. So this is that we have identified. My entire HR team is having a team of 6 to 7 people are assigned to each of these clusters to act as business partners. So every quarter we have a dashboard for HR. How are we doing on attrition? How are we doing on employee connect? How are we doing in terms of training? What kind of learning is happening? How many hours these people are actually training themselves? What kind of certification they're getting? Right? We have a meeting every month, a meeting followed by quarterly review with the business heads with these teams. So we present to them the hardcore numbers about how the HR on HR parameters, how these functions are performing. What are the issues? We have every month connect events. These are basically the open houses. We have probably had last 9 months have been really like almost monthly, every 2 connect meetings happen pan-India. So we categorize and do the analysis and take those inputs specific to those departments individually. And then these learning, oh, listen, you have not spent your training budget. Hey, listen, your people have not done the online learning. They have not acquired these kind of skills. We identify what kind of courses they are required to be done in consultation with the business managers. So this is way, one is it's in a real time, on a periodic review basis, our training goals change. Of course, the traditional ways of quarterly calendars happen, online training happens, the training programs planned one. We have huge partner ecosystem, IT partner, alliances. We bring in their expertise and we train, we use their faculty to train our people so that we can do well. So primarily, anything and everything that we do has to be in line with the business need. This is not like these are the cookies. Everybody has to attend. No. It is changing dynamically quarter after quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's need to be keep the feet on the ground and go ahead.
So there is a structure and a process in place.
Yes.
Plus, there's a lot of data and analytics and metrics that you are using to process and keep track of all the events and monitor and evaluate the effectiveness.
Yes. We also at the end of these meetings we give the HOD on the HR parameters. This is where the department is rated.
Okay.
On attrition, we have a yearly goal. On training learning, have you met your 8 man days per year goal?
Okay.
Percentage. If you're below in red zone, green zone on each of the parameters, the numbers will speak for themselves. They say, okay, you're doing well. Oh, you're doing great. No, you need to improve on this. So it's the reverse engineering that's happening. The reverse way the data is flowing and telling, hey, you need to work on this. Of course,
Right.
the HODs are also very sportive, and they take it in a proper way and try to help us to improve
So
jointly.
there's a whole support system that is built in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful. So tell us about some of your business strategy scenarios. It could be mergers and acquisitions, growth, internationalization, digitization, setting up of new units, new
Right.
branches, whatever business strategy scenarios your organization has faced. And in your role as the CHRO, what were some of the adjustments that you made to align your HR and L&D efforts to fit into such new strategic direction?
Oh, beautiful. I would love to take this question. I think I'll take a little half a minute more, maybe a minute more to answer that, because the perception about LND totally changed for us 9 months ago in March, mid of March, when we're put to work from home. We have annually for these 1,500 employees and other 1,200 contract employees, we clock close to about 60,000 hours of training year on year.
Oh,
Okay,
that's a lot.
training and online training was not so much then, but a lot of that classroom training used to happen. 60,000, close to 55, 58,000 per year. That's what we used to clock. But this year, COVID, you will be surprised to know, Anita ji, that of course we have appropriate training budgets and in place, a lot of certification happened. But suddenly, because of COVID, the focus shifted from classroom training to online. And luckily for us, we had already by then signed up for Udemy. Udemy is a great online learning platform. Likewise, global, all global companies of entity are signed up with something called Degreed. These are the two platforms we use it generously, and we have taken those licenses, assigned them to each department basis the number of headcount that is there, right? And their training needs, what is the record in the past, basis that we allocated those many licenses to these people. Not everybody gets licensed by default, because when you get something like that, you will not really value it. So we said, hey, listen, if you have 100 employees in the department, you will have about 8 to 10 licenses, and they need to be rotated like this. We have assigned training leaders, basically department leaders, as a training heads or leads there to monitor this. We give them the data. Listen, your team is not doing there. So there's a lot of emphasis on online training, whether it is Degree, whether it is Udemy. We have already made a laundry list of what are the certifications basis the role, each person's role. For this role, you need to have these certifications are available online free of cost. You can do this here, and they're given timelines, and we are monitoring week to week basis, and we are publishing that data. You will be surprised, in the first 2-3 months itself, we had crossed 30,000 hours of online learning.
Within the lockdown period.
Yeah, 30,000 first 3 months. Now we have already overachieved our yearly goals and everything. It's not that everybody is only doing training. They're all done with purpose. In the corporate induction program, the other engagement program that happen online, everything is going online.
So you partnered with Udemy and
Yes.
Degreed
Yes.
for the technical part of the training.
Technical part of Degree covers there are 3,500 plus courses. You can imagine the diversity of courses that are there. It is for HR, admin, finance, sales, you name it, everything on earth. Even beautician, how to sing also is there.
Okay.
So we are using that. Then we have training L&D ambassadors from the functions we have identified. Every department we have 2-3 people. They go through the trainer program. Right? These people come and also conduct sessions for us. We ourselves do certain programs, key talent program, also a high performance program. All these programs we do that for.
So if you were to share with us one single best practice in developing and executing training,
I would,
or evaluation of training, what would that one single best practice be?
So best is, I think, any L&D department or any department, more so HR, they need to be great listeners. They need to be good observers. They need to be very, very on the field. They cannot be sitting in cabins and rooms and just on theory, we must do this, we must do that. It won't work. You need to be on the field. You need to talk to your employees. You need to talk. You have employee connect. You get a lot of inputs. You need to talk to the next in line leaders in departments and the HODs. Even in exit interviews, you get a lot of insights, and you should connect each of them. Where is this coming from? What are the problems in the company? These HRBP meetings are the testimony. These are our, should I say, a source of a lot of insights, whether it is learning, when a new intervention is required. So basis that we identify, for instance, if sales is not happening, if you're not able to convert, there is some problem. So we need to really sit with those team and why are we not able to make this sale through? What has gone wrong? Either the product is not well, or the product assimilation has not happened, or the product, the way it is presented, has not happened, or we have not done a good job in terms of preparing for the case and presenting it to a customer, or we should have done something else. So there is a lot of root cause analysis for every feedback, especially improvement or negative feedback that comes up. Also, what is working, what is positive, what should we do more. So having your ears to the ground is number first. We have done this more because we had to do this time. Like for instance, a simple example is earlier we used to have 6-hour training program per every day, right? I mean, it's a 1-day classroom program, not 4 hours or 6 hours. Now we said everything should be for 2 hours, not more than, because he has got also to work. And online you can't be just sitting and expecting people to listen to one set chat, right? So we create a small module. So there are a lot of innovation happen when it comes to L&D. So the example is, be like a Roman while in Rome, you know.
Yeah.
So one size does not fit all. So we have changed the way we deliver. You know, somebody likes coffee in a ceramic, this thing we give in there. Somebody likes, no, I'm from South India, I need in a, steel glass, small one, because that. Somebody likes, no, mere ko matti wala isme chahiye, bhaiya tu isme le le. So basically it is customizing. It cannot be one simple rule. Idea is to sit with, you need to be a partner to your HOD.
That's true.
Customers. You cannot be lecturing him, talk about your HR jargon. He will say, take a walk. You need
the thought that you suggested in the beginning as having HRBPs for every cluster.
Yes, yeah.
Those are the where you get your ear to the ground and you're able to adjust.
Basically, yeah. I want to clarify one thing. This the HRBP word is very abused word. It is understood in a particular way. Probably that is the right definition, but for me or for us at NetMagic, HRBP, Entity NetMagic, HRBP is I'm actually working with the business leader. I'm not doing the typical operational roles, performance improvement, performance management, any kind of, compensation related queries, something else. No. We are asking about actually what are the business issues you are facing. This is the HR dashboard. I'm presenting it to you. This is pertaining to your department. This is what we are saying. This is what is available to you, and this is what we recommend. We would like you to take up, and we will partner with you. So I'm a co-creator with you there.
Very good.
Excellent. Problems. Yeah.
Excellent. So you're not like pure HR. You're only business.
Exactly. The HRBP teams are hardcore like that. There is a plumber, there is a carpenter, there is a tailor, there is a nutritionist, there is everybody in this HR team, HRBP team for each cluster.
Wonderful. Someday we'll get into that one too. But right now, very briefly, if you can share with us, you told us about partnering with Udemy and Degree in Miracle of Training efforts post-lockdown. So, but what are some of the other adjustments you made in both HR and in L&D, post-COVID? Some innovative something,
So basically, I think evaluating training effectiveness has been one of the most challenging tasks for us. For many of us, I think even today, I despite also many long years and what I've gathered and I go these years of experience, I still find it is a big challenge. Number one. Number two, the motivation levels of individuals are very different, very diverse. Third, learning, the way people learn and their motivation to learn is also very scattered, is very different. So therefore, what we have done is we have targeted individuals how learning can really help. Instead of taking the onus whether learning is effective or not, we put the onus on the training. He said, you are investing your 2 hours time or 4 hours time. You are the best to judge what you have learned or not learned. Don't come and sit here and waste your time. You have come here because your manager has nominated you, therefore you may be here. But when you are here, please be here. See what is the delta when you're going back. And that delta, is it helping you to become a better employee in that role or not? That is the question you have to ask. And who will justify, who will confirm this that you have become better is your output. Because you're going to see whatever you're taking 6 hours or 16 days to do now, you're doing it in 2 days. Secondly, because of the COVID, now they are not working, teams across the next, bench mein koi baitha hai, you can ask him for help. Now there is nobody. You are a one-man army sitting in a home, and you have to be efficient. You have to be an island of efficiency. You need to know the subject. You need to know how to do things. You need to be a good influencer. You need to talk to people virtually and get your things done. People will not give you, days and months to complete a job. When a job is assigned, you should be able to give the output. So therefore, you are learning. That quotient of learning need to really go up. So therefore, we have created that lot of awareness by beating on this particular part. Plus, also we talk to the HODs and the managers. Whom do you want to nominate is your decision. Don't nominate somebody because he's not having work. Don't nominate somebody who is already good, and because you want to please him, you want to say, training tumko de diya jaake beto. No, you nominate them, but nominate people judiciously who need, there is a need for them to learn. And this is the absurd behavior on the job. And then give them the feedback. Please, I think you're doing better. Did this program help you? Or HR is taking you? Please don't be afraid of asking this question to the trainee. Whenever you're nominating, when he comes back, you ask him, did it help? Do you think you can do even if you ask an employee, hey, you attended this program, was it of value? Do you think your output is, can I expect some good performance from you after this training program? If you ask this, then person's orientation while he's sitting in the class will change. So from that perspective, we are approaching this, and it has really paid dividends, trust me. Basically getting all the stakeholders into the game and ask him, तेरा ये responsibility है भैया, तुमको ये पूछना है. ट्रेनी को भी बताया, भैया तेरे को बुलाया है तो आपको जाना है, ये करना है, ये इससे, because you need to be like a sponge, you need to be a good absorber.
So excellent, lots of interesting bites of learning for our participants, because our participants are mostly going to be training managers or trainers in organizations, and for them these kind of inputs definitely help. So on behalf of ISTD and on behalf of all the participants of the postgraduate diploma in training and development, I'd like to say thank you very much, Dr. Deepak Deshpande. And,
I want to say one thing from my side, Anita ji.
Please.
I'm sure a lot of HR professionals and other professionals must be listening to me. Training has been the only, opportunity I got. This is the story of 2000 when everybody was terminating. So I had the misfortune to terminate, a lot of employees during early 2000. So everybody used to be scared of running away from, when I'm walking to the area, Deepak mil gaya, terminate karega, bulaya, after 5 o'clock is calling means he will terminate. So they used to avoid. There is a lot of fear in the company.
This was the Y2K time.
Yeah. So we said, this is bad, so we need to do something. So every Friday I used to have a training program. On some training pretext or anything, I'll get those 30, 40 people in turns and then have a training program. 1 full year I did that training program. That has changed my life. Training is a noble profession. It is a transformative role. It is not a transactional role. So anybody who is aspiring to be a fact trainer, remember the responsibility, remember the transformation you can bring. And also training is not some, some gyan sitting in, your big lounge chairs and, sipping coffee and watching TV. No, you have to be hands-on. You have to speak through experience. You need to be on the ground, on the field. It cannot be purely advisory. It's a noble profession. If you look at it like that, you will find a lot of growth. I have myself personally benefited as a trainer then, and that is where I have come here today. And whatever little growth has happened, primarily roots are embedded there. So if you're already training managers, you are lucky, you can go places. If you're aspiring, it's a great start. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. That was a very inspiring statement, the last one. I'm really, really so thankful for you to bring that insight to our participants. Because yes.
Also, I want to congratulate. I enrolled for ISTD 15 years ago. I could not complete. So you can say whatever you are, but you are not an ISTD diploma. I take it with.
So whatever goes around comes around. I mean, you also began somewhere with an ISTD diploma program.
Mehul Kuvadia was my faculty.
And now you are taking this best practice session with them.
God is kind. God is kind. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Really, really thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity and this window to share my thoughts with your students and you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Great to connect with you.